This exhibition features the work of 5 artists from the Royal College of Art, who were commissioned by Imperial College London's Artworks group to produce portraits and other works that represent the diversity of Imperial staff, student or alumni community. The Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Portrait Prize gave students from the Royal College of Art an award to cover the costs of creating and displaying the works. The prize has a particular focus on works that depict members of Imperial's Black, Asian and minority ethnic community by artists that also identify as BAME. Curated by Mindy Lee, Head of Art at Imperial College London, the exhibition will be shown at the Blyth Gallery, Imperial College London in January 2022. The works will become part of Imperial's permanent art collection to be displayed around the college's campuses.
Hello, my name is Tami Soji-Akinyemi and I'm a second year MA painting student at the Royal College of Art. I have painted Kailash and Gabriella. They come from 2 different departments of the Imperial College, and even though they do, I feel like there was some kind of connection. I spent a little bit of time with them and talking through their stories and their hopes and dreams. I felt like there was a gap between my version of them and the real them, which is something I deal with in my work as well, that there's always something lying underneath the surface, and there's a multitude of things that we really don't know. And so I kind of placed them in backgrounds that seemed like a haze, or like it was making an image as you're looking at it, or an image is changing as you're looking at it, as the paint catches the light. And then there's a focus on them, and I felt like I wanted them to be illuminated. I wanted them to feel monumental. That's why I kind of scaled them up. And I wanted the portraits to have a presence and a timelessness and a monumentality.
Hello, my name is Browne. I'm a second year painting student from Royal College of Art. I've been working with Crystal from Imperial on a portrait. My approach towards this portrait has been through dialogue, through conversation in Crystal's lab, and she dissects flies and does experiments on them. So the title of the work is called Fly in a Landscape Looking at the Noise, and basically, we were talking in the lab and the conversation was reaching towards this idea of meditation, and Crystal in her lab, she reaches this meditative state. So for me, I thought it would be more interesting to approach the portrait and think about what's inside of her head as opposed to what she looks like. And we spoke about this idea of meditation being this thing where you're looking at the noise. Also, she said if she were to be looking at the noise, she would be looking from above. So from that conversation, I took that idea and I thought, why don't I represent this? And that became like the entry level to the portrait. I stumbled across the shape, the circle and the square, and there's this thing in science called squaring the circle. So that's something that I've also been thinking about. And this idea of noise, visual noise, looking at the noise, the black square, Malevich and the black square. In science, there's this thing called the black box. That's what I was like thinking about. So for me, this portrait is really meant to provoke the viewer and question these kind of overlapping ideas in art and science. And come see it. Hey.
Hi, my name is Emily Moore and I am from RCA, Royal College of Art, painting department. I graduated in 2020, the COVID years. And this piece was brought together. First of all, it came from a conversation actually that we had here at Imperial with some of the staff members and the teams from different departments. And the guy said to me that there was a title that had stuck in his mind, which was the title Belonging. And I thought, a way to engage a piece of work from that perspective, just the language of, or the feelings of emotions of the word to belong. And that was my starting point for this piece. Although it's a portrait prize, I didn't go for the traditional portrait, which I thought is quite interesting because from the conversations that we had within the space, within the group, there was this idea that, you know, within the space of Imperial, you know, colour and to be something that was like tactile, something that was inviting and engaging was something that people really were like referencing and wanting to see within the space. And so I approached this piece from that perspective, from the idea that it belongs to everybody, and then also that it's something that will engage people from a colour, from a textile, from a materiality perspective. And yeah, I hope it does the job.
I'm Sichan Wang. I'm second-year photography student at RCA. The portrait that I've created for Imperial College's EDI Portrait Prize, named Who Should Sit Here? As it said in the title, there's no subject of the portrait. My original intention was to present the image of Asian women who live here in a different perspective. In particular, the contrast between the image of Asian women being perceived or imagined in the potential criminal perspective and the original image of them. I believe there are many Asian women live here accompanied with insecurity in daily life. Their safety is often being threatened, and most of the time they are easily targeted. As I didn't find an appropriate person who can represent Asian women identity, I couldn't decide who should sit here on behalf of this group. They couldn't sit there and me neither. So I invited a special guest, a bunny, as a presentation of a vulnerable, seemingly weak and easily tamed image to show the stereotypes of Asian women identity in a potentially criminal view. In other words, I'm not shooting for any individuals, but the underrepresented Asian women groups.
My name is Ikhide. I am a current student at the RCA studying on the MA photography program. And these two portraits I show here of Margaret and Sarah, who are both Imperial College staff. And they're key. I find them as the role here is very important, dealing with Black and minority ethnic students here at Imperial College. How I approach shooting both of these subjects it's the same way I would usually approach shooting most of my subjects or portraits. Very informal, very casual, very sort of always in an intimate setting. And I managed to shoot both of them within the sort of interior of Imperial College to kind of just show or resonate with a sense of the history of the college and the history of the setting where they are as both staff and key staff here at Imperial College.